First of all, let's talk about you being Marilyn. How does that
Oh.
feel?
Well, I have to say I don't view Marilyn Monroe as source material for this part. Um, I've only seen the movie once.
Hmm.
I watched it actually before I auditioned in New York over the summer. Um, Mainly, as I recall, because when I first read the script, I was like, wait, they get together at the end? Like, really? Because Bo is such a bully, and especially from a 2012 sensibility,
Right.
it was hard for me to sort of imagine that arc, like how that happened, and I needed sort of an idea of who Bo is and sort of the sweetness that's in his nature
Hmm.
before I could have that make sense for myself. So I watched the movie once. It's very different
Right.
from the play. The
Right.
action is very different. The story's different. The scenes are with different people. Um, I know that comparisons are inevitable, especially got the platinum blonde wig and
And the dress.
and the beautiful dress. Yes. So I know that it's somewhat unavoidable, but I have to say, I didn't. We never talked about Marilyn in
Hmm.
rehearsal. We didn't. I didn't really draw on it. And as I recall, there's a lot of like she sort of is a weepier Shuri, and David and I talked a lot about making Shuri tougher,
Okay.
sort of having like a tougher exterior. She's had a really hard life, and
Hmm.
um, so yeah, the wig is very period. So it's I don't know how much of that was conscious on the
Hmm.
part of David and the designers, and how much was just that's kind of a style of the time. It mentions in the script numerous times that she's a blonde, so that was the blonde of the time, peroxide. So yeah, it's not conscious.
Okay. There's a big switch from you majoring in St. Mary's College here in Maryland
Yes, I did.
to being on stage.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I always loved theater. Um, I think the first time I noticed that I loved theater was when I was in third or fourth grade. We did a play, and I was a daffodil, and I had a little daffodil hat on, and I just remember feeling so transported, like this is so cool. And so I did, I mean, my mom took me to some community theater auditions and stuff when I was young. Um, and actually, my dad used to perform in this community theater in the basement of a church that benefited like a
Beautiful.
food pantry down in University Park.
Okay.
Um, so, I would go see him, and my brother and I would do plays with him there. But my parents really never pushed that on me. I went to like performing arts camp in the summer, but it was never a focus of mine.
So when did the light bulb turn on?
Yeah, well, really, I always loved it, and I was I was very afraid. I think because I loved it so much, it was like this precious sort of thing to me. Like acting was so at my center in a way. Like I was so afraid of being bad at it, or I was so afraid of failing. Um, that I didn't try for a long time, and the idea of auditioning for college to get into like a BFA program, I was like, So psychology seemed sort of a complementary and safer uh, side angle, and I took a couple of acting classes in college, but I really didn't I didn't pursue it. I was good at school.
Mm.
My mom often quoted to me this interview that she'd heard with an actor who said, acting is a really tough life, a very tough profession, and the only people who do that are people who can't do anything else.
Hmm.
Which I misunderstood at the time as being like, oh, well, I have other skills, so, I'll just go to school and I'll get a PhD in something and teach or do academia, whatever. Um, and then after I graduated and I was like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And I couldn't really get a hold on anything. And then I began to understand that quote differently as like they're compelled to do it. No one would pick this. For most people, it's not a very glamorous or easy or luxurious existence. It's very hard. And
Well, you ended up at Harvard.
yes, so I did. I finally got myself together and I just picked four schools that I'd heard of. It wasn't a very methodical, because I was very afraid of the idea of having to audition for graduate school. It's like probably worse even than auditioning for college. So I was very scared about it. I just picked 4 and I auditioned, and it was horrible. I was like, I'm not doing that again. That was so scary. And then I got into Harvard, and it changed everything. It was the best 2 years of my life. Like, just being fully, because you don't have to survive there. You're in school full time. You're not doing a day job. And you're doing all these parts. But like, then you get into the real world, and you're like, right. I'm not going to be doing Amanda from Glass Menagerie. That's not in my future right now. But we got to study in Russia. We went to Moscow, and we were at the Moscow Art Theater School, which is like just amazing. We studied ballet with, the prima ballerina from the Bolshoi. It was an amazing experience.
Well, you're back home. How's it
Yeah, it's really fun. My parents are just about 45 minutes south. They're right outside D.C., and my godparents, they come up. My childhood best friends still live around here. I have friends from college who are around. It's been lovely, especially around the holidays. So I've been getting to reconnect with a lot of people.
Right up to almost Christmas. Right?
Yep, I know. It's been really fun. I went to grad school and sort of disappeared into this black hole of like work, and it's been nice to reconnect.
But let me return to the play.
Sure.
You realize that you are the star of this.
That's really funny, because when I read the script, I was like, oh, this is such an ensemble piece. Everyone's on stage all the time. So I really sort of think of it that way. I do get the best costumes. I'm the only one who gets 2 dresses. I felt very greedy. Especially, God, that sequin dress.
The sequin.
That's
the Marilyn Monroe dress.
I know. And
Any idea what size she was?
I think she was like a size 14 or 16.
Really?
She was
How close are you to that?
Not very. But Cherie is supposed to be a skinny little thing.
Yeah.
She's not eating well, I don't think.
Based on her background.
She's not had an easy time. So,
So this is home sweet home for your father.
Yeah, it's been really nice.
Yeah. Well, I hope everyone comes out to see you.
Thank you.
Okay.